He has hit in 13 of his last 14 ball games, and Barnes misses, and the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. As a New York Mets player, Templeton hitting .280 since coming to the Mets from San Diego with 1 home run, 8 runs batted in. Again, the curveball. It's 1-2.
How about Barnes? He was drafted in 1989. He got to the big leagues in a hurry.
Last year, he led professional baseball in strikeouts, more than David Cone, who led the major leagues with 233. But of course, he was in the minor leagues. He struck out 236 batters in the minor leagues. He was at Jacksonville, where he was 13-7, and with Montreal, he was 1-1. He had a great year at Jacksonville, and the first out of the ball game as Templeton flies out to the right fielder Martinez.
And a defense for the Expos in the infield. Galarraga, DeShields, Owen, and Wallach. Left to right in the outfield. Calderon, Grissom, and Martinez Fitzgerald behind the plate.
And that'll bring up Kevin Elster, who is hitless in this series, 0 for 8, batting .224 for the year with 3 home runs, 22 RBIs, batting second in the batting order. He's at .297 against left-hand pitching this year, and he goes after the first pitch and skies it out to deep left center field. It's way back, going, and it is gone. Goodbye. Kevin Elster with a towering fly ball, and it goes for the home run.
Well, last night we saw a home run off the bat of Howard Johnson that kind of surprised everybody by traveling over the fence early in the game. Kevin Elster just hits a high fly ball to left center field, and the ball lands in the seats. Ball carrying well here at the Big O.
7th home run given up by Barnes this year. Elster's 4th home run, and the Mets have the lead 1-0, and that brings up Kevin McReynolds. He takes for ball 1. Elster's first hit in this series, but a big one. The Mets, when they have scored the first run in the ball game, are 28-17. And McReynolds takes a strike. McReynolds hitting .288, 7 home runs, 38 RBIs. In his last 43 games, he has raised his average 126 points. And he hits it hard down to third, but it's foul, and just a foul ball.
Well, let's take a look at the home run off of the Mets shortstop's bat. Elster getting the head of the bat out there and hitting the ball way up in the air. Calderon said, I might have a shot at this ball. I might have a shot. Out of room. Number 4 for Kevin Elster.
So the count on McReynolds, 1-2, and the pitch back. Swung on and foul tipped. Reynolds barely getting a piece of it. McReynolds with 22 base hits is tied for 3rd in the National League with Tony Gwynn for 2 base hits. He has hit 24 home runs against the Montreal Expos in his major league career. That leads the Mets club for home runs against Montreal. And the pitch back, a breaking ball. McReynolds in this series 2 for 11. 4-game series, the Mets with a chance to sweep it, and that pitch a ball, so it goes to 3-2.
And the Mets can pick up a game on the Pirates if they win tonight.
They would be 4.5 games back of Pittsburgh if they can pull out a victory here. And it's grounded down the third base side. A fair ball this time. Wallach tries to backhand it, can't get his glove on it. McReynolds gets his 21st 2-base hit.
So a double off the bat of Kevin McReynolds. Wallach once again was caught in between hops, and all you can do is hope you get the glove on it, get the ball in the glove, and let the glove do the work. Here it is as the ball hits, and Wallach unable to make the play.
Charlie Williford, the third base umpire, making the call a fair ball. It's whether it goes over the bag or not when it's a ground ball. And that puts a runner at second with 1 out and brings up Howard Johnson, who has been a red-hot batter for the Mets. And he also has been named to the All-Star team. He will not start at third base, but you can bet he'll be in there. Leading the National League in home runs and runs batted in. His first pitch, a curve for a ball, for a strike.
I was kind of surprised in the pregame show when Howard told me that even if he was listed as a third baseman, he did not feel that he's the type of player that has that type of name that would get the vote.
It's amazing how that vote goes, and it's certainly a situation that can be criticized. The leading vote getter among outfielders was Darryl Strawberry, and he certainly doesn't deserve to be in that position, but he's not going to play because he says he needs a time to rehabilitate.
Just goes to show you, though, fans want to have glamour names at the All-Star game, and the game is for the fans.
Now they argue about the fact whether the fans should vote the players into the All-Star game. This ball popped up to the left. It's a towering fly ball, but Calderon has all the time in the world to get to it, and he makes the catch. But when they had the selection made by the players, they were prejudiced in their viewpoint too, so it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. I'm all for the fans voting for it.
Yeah, players used to keep Vic Power off. It's funny, I thought of Vic Power today and looking at Andres Galarraga, a great right-handed first baseman. Vic Power was always ignored for the All-Star game when the players had a say in the selection. Here's a guy who's on the All-Star team, Ivan Calderon.
He was named to the All-Star team by Lou Piniella. Did not get the necessary votes to be voted in. As you look at Hubie Brooks, Hubie hitting .263 with 13 home runs, 41 runs batted in. Hubie and Howard Johnson combining to have the most home runs by two players on one team in the National League. And the pitch is taken outside.
When you look at Hubie's season last season with the Dodgers, he had a strong year offensively. If there's a knock on Hubie, it's he really doesn't have a position.
Played shortstop for Montreal when he was here and drove in 100 runs as a shortstop. The first shortstop to drive in 100 runs since Ernie Banks back in his glory days with the Cubs.
And Ernie Banks was criticized as a defensive shortstop.
As a compromise, he was a first baseman at the end of his career.
And he's in the Hall of Fame as a first baseman.
He wasn't that bad a shortstop. I played behind him. And the pitch back to Brooks is inside. And it's ball four. So Hubie works out a walk, and that puts runners at first and second with 2 men out and brings up Mark Carrion.
I was kind of surprised the Dodgers gave up on Hubie Brooks, even though they picked up Darryl Strawberry. I figured they might move Hubie to another position. I wouldn't want to give up a guy who can hit 20 home runs and drive in 80 runs.
And be a right-hand batter when the Dodgers were extremely vulnerable to left-hand pitching and still are. Mark Carrion, the batter, a real paradox, an outstanding pinch hitter and having a terrible time when he has started as a player. And he takes outside for a ball. Carrion, in 108 at-bats as a starting ball player, has no home runs and only 3 runs batted in, hitting .220.
He's in a different role because he forced their hand, got in the lineup because he did so well as a pinch hitter. Now he has to deliver to stay in the lineup.
And he pops it up into shallow center field. The center fielder Grissom coming up to make the catch, and the Mets lead 2, but they get 1 on the home run by Kevin Elster. And the score at the end of 1/2 inning, the Mets won, and the Montreal Expos coming up.
On in the third hole. The middle 3, Tim Wallach, Dave Martinez, and Andres Galarraga, and the bottom 3, Mike Fitzgerald, Spike Owen, and then Brian Barnes.
And on the mound, Wally Whitehurst with a record of 4-4 this year. One of his wins against Montreal. Their run average of 3.41, and Delano DeShields back in the leadoff position, goes after the first pitch and grounds out. DeShields playing 17 consecutive games, batting number 2, but Marquise Grissom was so bad as a leadoff batter, they finally moved him out of there.
But I talked to Tommy Harper, who works closely with both players. He told me the guy with the most natural talent of the two is right there, Marquis Grissom.
Grissom hitting .268 with 5 home runs, 22 RBIs, and he takes the first pitch for a strike.
Tommy Harper, there he is right there. Tommy told me Delano DeShields has a Pete Rose personality as far as his working. He'll work very hard to improve.
And a ball call, 1-1. Grissom as a leadoff batter, hitting .188 with only 4 walks. They finally moved him out of that leadoff position. He's had 20 infield hits, And he hits this one on the ground. Charging the ball is Elster. He quickly gets it to first base, 2 men away.
I asked Tommy Harper about working with those two players as far as stealing bases, and they're stealing a lot of bases this year. He told me any coach who works with any player has to be lucky enough to have talent sent his way. If they don't have talent, he said, I'm not going to be able to coach them. No coach is going to be able to coach them. But he told me it's amazing what he did with both of those players. He made them shorten their lead. And the man who took the biggest lead I've ever seen was Tommy Harper himself.
And a great base stealer. Now the batter, Ivan Calderon, and he takes the first pitch for a called strike. Calderon named to the All-Star team, hitting .314 for the year with 9 home runs, 47 RBIs. He had an 8-game hitting streak stopped last night. But over his last 9 games, hitting .412. He's had 5 bunt base hits, so the Mets have to guard against that. Mets lead him 1-0, 2 men out, bottom half of the first, and that pitch is strike.
Calderon was signed by the Seattle Mariners back in '79. He ended up getting traded to the White Sox back in '86 and really came into his own with the White Sox.
And he was obtained by Montreal in the deal that saw Tim Raines go to the White Sox. Whitehurst, lifetime 5-5. This year 4-4.
I was kind of surprised at the trade because there are certain players on your ball club, like a Tim Raines, who you think is going to be a fixture. And when he's going poorly, it changes the atmosphere in the club, or if he gets traded away.
And there's strike 3 called. So Whitehurst sneaks a fastball by and picks up his first strikeout. A 1-2-3 inning, and the Chevrolet scoreboard shows the Mets lead him 1-0 after 1. Hitting .260 on the year with 1 home run, 10 RBIs. And Brian Barnes with his first pitch. It's ball 1. Cerrone in this series 3 for 8. And he hits a fly ball to center field. Marquise Grissom, the center fielder. 1 away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the New York Mets and is intended for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the Mets, Sterling Doubleday Enterprises, and Sports Channel is prohibited. 1 away here in the top of the second. The Mets lead him 1-0, and Tommy Herr will be the batter. Tommy 3 for 8 in this series, and he takes the first pitch, a called strike. Herr hitting .207 on the year with 1 home run, 12 runs batted in. Greg Jeffries has missed all the games of this series because of a stomach virus. But he is available for pinch hitting duty, and that pitch taken for a ball. It's 1-1.
If the Mets continue playing well, I believe they will see Greg Jeffries sit out in Philadelphia and come back strong after the All-Star break.
Mets have won 6 of their last 8 games, so they have been playing well. Having a successful homestand, winning 4 out of 6, and then coming up here to Montreal and winning the first 3. And that pitch a ball, so it's 2-1.
When a club's struggling, all of a sudden they start to win. Managers are reluctant to change a winning lineup.
Mets have won 10 of the 12 games with Montreal, and the Montreal Expos with a 10-game losing streak. 15.5 games back of the Pirates. There you see Greg Jeffries starting to look like he's alive. Boy, he really looked bad when the Mets arrived here in Montreal.
Always has that bat in his hand, doesn't he?
Got to go with your partner.
Mm-hmm. And Mackey Sasser with his bat.
And the pitch to Tommy Herr also hit to center field. This one a little deeper, but Grissom is there. And Herr is out.
You know, when you look at this young pitcher for the Expos, and you look at their left-hander last night, Chris Haney, the Expos are under the gun when they select young players. For their minor leagues, they have to get some quality players, and they need them up in the major leagues in a hurry, because most of the guys that get to the major leagues with the Expos, if they have some good years, they play out their option. They want to play baseball in the United States.
And Whitehurst hits the first pitch, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Brian Barnes as he settles down to lead it off here in the bottom half of the second for the Expos. And a happy 4th of July to all of you in the States as the first pitch to Wallach is taken for ball 1. The Expos on the 4th of July are devastating. They have won 10 of their last 11 4th of July ball games, and overall they're 11-3 in their last 14. And Wallach fouls it back.
They got to get Wallach going, or they're not going to do anything this year. Tim Wallach really struggling. In fact, before the ball game in the clubhouse, he was looking at films of his swing.
3 for 10 in this series, hitting .244 for the year with 9 home runs, 37 RBIs. He got his 9th home run in this series against the Mets. Last 30 games, he's driven in 23 runs, and he takes the breaking ball. Wallach followed by Dave Martinez and Andres Galarraga as the Mets lead at 1-0 on the home run by Kevin Elster. And Wallach takes the fastball. Three and 1 the count to Tim Wallach. He has averaged 154 games every year he's played in the major leagues. He's never been on the DL, and he skies it to center. So Wallach flies out to carry on, 1 away, and that'll bring up Dave Martinez. For Mets fans, nothing beats the clean, crisp, cold taste of the king of beers, Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud.
You know, Ralph, talking about Tim Wallach, how he's never been on the DL, how important is it for a manager to look over there and know that you have your 4th hitter and he'll play every day?
Very important.
You think about a Cal Ripken Jr. Same thing. You know he's there, you know he's going to produce, and you know he wants to play.
Can't get him out of the lineup, as a matter of fact. As Martinez steps in, hitting .249, and he takes the first pitch for ball 1. Martinez with 2 home runs, 23 RBIs. .297 hitter against the Mets this year.
Wallach really struggling with that bat.
And this one grounded foul as you got a shot of Dennis Martinez, who has made the All-Star team for the 2nd straight year, the first Nicaraguan player to ever make the All-Star team.
He's one of the guys I would consider starting in that All-Star game.
He's been criticizing his manager, which is nothing new. He did that to Buck Rogers.
They say he does it twice a year. In fact, today, he criticized him yesterday. Today, he was meeting with the press down by the dugout, probably trying to explain how he was misquoted.
And this pitch is fouled off. 1-2. Dennis Martinez, last year the oldest player in the All-Star game.
Boy, has this game changed where the manager is criticized by the player?
In the old days, you did that and you got a train ticket.
Mm-hmm. Some managers, you'd be in his office, door would be locked, and the best man would win.
Whoever walked out was the winner, huh?
Mm.
Now the pitch back, and it's a breaking ball. As Wally Whitehurst works here to Dave Martinez. Martinez with a 4-hit game against the Mets, tying his career high. That was back on April 21st, the 4th time that he's had 4 hits in a ball game. Came into that game with no hits in his last 20 at-bats. Acquired from the Chicago Cubs. And a swing comes up empty, and that is the 2nd strikeout for Whitehurst.
Good fastball from Wally Whitehurst, threw the ball right by Martinez.
So So 5 in a row for Whitehurst, and he'll now pitch to his 6th batter, Andres Galarraga.
Here's the pitch. Fastball.
Galarraga hitting .255, 3 home runs, 11 runs batted in. And just off the DL, and he hits the first pitch and grounds it slowly to the second baseman, Tommy Herr, who's not made an error in 51 ball games.
It's amazing how many things you look at when you're in a slump. Different things in the swing.
And the first pitch to Templeton, taken for ball 1. Templeton flied to right his first time up.
And when you're hitting the ball well, you don't look at anything except the ball. Everything falls into place.
It's so easy when you're going well and so tough when you're not. And this ball hit in the air again, this time to center field by Templeton. 1 away as Brian Barnes picks up his first out here in the 3rd.
I think 2 of the biggest things, and really one of them we never really talk about, is looking at the ball. Most important thing is to look at the ball. The other thing that's very important is to get the hands back into a hitting position. If you get the hands to collapse, hitter won't hit. Talked to Tommy Harper about hitting today before the game. He told me the guy that helped him the most as a hitter, Tommy Davis,
who was an outstanding hitter and was an outstanding player for the Dodgers, played for the Mets for a while, and was the man that the Mets traded for Tommy Agee. One of the Mets' better trades. Tommy Davis broke his leg, and that slowed him down.
I read in a book a few years ago that Tommy Agee, before he was traded to the Mets, almost got traded to the Red Sox for Carl Yastrzemski.
It would have been a blockbuster. This ball is hit hard to left field. So Alster, after going 0 for 8, starts off this ball game with 2 straight hits, a home run and a hard single to left.
Well, he talked his way into the 2nd slot, struggled early. Now he's hammering the ball. They go in and tell Buddy, I told you I was right. There's that swing, get the head of the bat out there.
Puts a runner at first with 1 away and brings up Kevin McReynolds. McReynolds doubled his first time up, but was left at second. Mets lead him 1-0. And Brian Barnes with his first pitch. McReynolds pulls it foul. Mets, when they have scored the first run in a ball game this year, and they have done that here tonight, have won 28 and lost 17. The percentage is about 70% overall. In scoring the first run, you win 70% of the ball games. And it's fouled back out of play. Two strikes the count to McReynolds. McReynolds with his 21st 2-base hit in the first inning. And Brian Barnes with his next delivery, and he misses with a breaking ball, 1-2. Next 3 games for the Mets in Philadelphia, and then the All-Star break. Mets are playing their 77th game of the year. They have won 42 and lost 34. Against left-handed starters, they're 16 and 12. A turnaround from last year when they really struggled against left-hand pitching. Of course, this ball club is not made up with left-handed hitters like it was last year when they had Strawberry. McReynolds having a bad year, and Johnson also a bad year from the right-hand side of the plate. Topped out foul, and Elster goes back to first.
Funny, when you look at some of the hitters, as you mentioned, struggling against left-handers, there are certain guys that if they struggle, it seems that the whole team will struggle. Almost like a player who can change the atmosphere in a ball club to a positive atmosphere. When Dwight Gooden is struggling, the atmosphere with the Mets is not the same. He's the type of player that can change the atmosphere.
Doc will pitch tomorrow night. He comes into that game with a record of 7-6. He has been struggling. Phillies will be pitching Danny Cox, a veteran right-hander, trying to make a comeback from a long stay on the disabled list. Another move to first base.
Talking about a player that can change the atmosphere. Last year, it would be Strawberry. When he struggled for a long period of time, it hurt the ball club because he was batting in the middle of the lineup.
Howard Johnson in that spot now has been carrying the ball club as well as McReynolds, and this ball is hit in the air to left center field and playable. Calderon makes the play, 2 men away as Elster goes back to first. That'll bring up Howard Johnson. Howard 5 for 10 in this series. Leading the National League in home runs with 19 and runs batted in with 60. He's also first in extra base hits with 35 and is second in slugging percentage at .554.
4 years ago, did you ever think that if there was a pitcher that would be named to the All-Star team with the Mets, it would not be the Doctor?
Never would have thought it. Youngest pitcher to win the Cy Young Award. And the fastball to ball.
And today, Frank Viola was named to the team. The Doctor was not named to the team.
Viola with a record of 9-5. Gooden with a record of 7-6. The 1-0 pitch, and Johnson takes it. 2 balls and no strikes. Johnson, as a right-hand batter, hitting .227 with 7 home runs and 23 RBIs. As a left-hand batter, hitting .270 with 12 home runs and 37 runs batted in. Did hit a grand slam home run batting right-handed earlier this year. That was against Montreal. And the pitch, ball 3. 3-0 to Johnson with Hubie Brooks on deck. Johnson has hit .263 with 21 home runs against Montreal in his major league career. 3-0 the count. Elster the runner at first. Mets leading 1-0. And it's ball 4, and that moves Elster down to second on the walk. Second walk given up by Barnes. It puts runners at first and second for Hubie Brooks with 2 men out. Brooks' his first walk. Hubie hitting .263 with 13 home runs, 41 RBIs. Last year, Brooks, who had a good year, as Fran pointed out, didn't hit his 14th home run until August 12th. And he takes a fastball for a ball.
Right now, Mike Fitzgerald going out.
Hubie, of course, started his career at third base and played shortstop for Montreal. Did a little shortstop for the Mets, and then moved to the outfield as he misses that one 1-1. Rogers with problems at third base, but they evidently didn't figure Hubie could return to the infield and do a good job.
Did a pretty good job up here as an infielder. Then they started moving him around. He became upset. It was almost like telling him, we don't have a position for you.
And that pitch a ball. How about this for a ball player? With the Dodgers last year, he hit .266, 20 home runs and 97 runs batted in. And they didn't want to keep him.
Again, I guess you look at the potential of a Strawberry and decided, well, we're going to sign him so we can unload 97 RBIs. That's a tough decision.
There's a strike. Of course, they didn't know he could steal home. He's had 2 steals of home this year. And he is out of there on the curveball as Barnes gets his first strikeout. That ends the inning. One hit, a walk, and 2 men left. And the score at the end of 2.5 innings, the Mets won in Montreal.
Texas later on, along with Kansas City, California. Ralph?
And it'll be Mike Fitzgerald to lead it off for Montreal here in the third. He moves out into bunting position, takes for ball 1.
From Cleveland.
Send help. 1-0 pitch to Fitzgerald. Again, a ball. It's 2 balls and no strikes. Fitzgerald hitting 157.
Otis Nixon, that sign says on that brown bag.
And there's a strike, 2-1.
Also,
Fitzgerald with 1 home run, 9 runs batted in.
There's also a sign here in Montreal, bring back Buck.
Meaning Buck Rogers. This ball hit foul into the stands. 2-2. Amazingly, Tom Reynolds, the manager of the Montreal Expos, with a record of 13-16 since he took over as manager. There is Tom. And that includes his 10-game losing streak. So he got off to a great start, replacing Buck Rogers.
Talked about it last night. Dave Dombrowski, who was a member of the Chicago White Sox when Tony La Russa managed there, feels that Tom Reynolds will be a Tony La Russa, Jim Leyland type manager.
That's high praise.
Only if he has the talent, though. That's a key. Tom Reynolds, a fine athlete in high school baseball, basketball, and tennis. Was an all-state tennis player in the state of Colorado.
And the 3-2 pitch hit on the ground to Elster, and Fitzgerald is out. 7 in a row now for Wally Whitehurst, and that'll bring up Spike Owen. Spike Owen, 5 for 11 in this series, hitting .216 for the year, but against the Mets this year, he's hitting .351 with a home run. One of his 2 home runs this season against the Mets. The Mets have never found a way to get him out. He hit .300 against the Mets when he was with the Red Sox in the World Series of 1986, and they'll get him out this time as he goes for the first pitch. Tommy Herr, who has now fielded 197 chances so far this year without making an error. So 2 men out, and Brian Barnes will be the batter. Barnes 2 for 16. Talking about the young pitching that Montreal has, Brian Barnes certainly has got some good stats to back up his minor league career, and that pitch swung on a miss, strike 1. A quick ascension to the major leagues. He learned his circle change from Landrum of the Pittsburgh Pirates when he was going to school at Clemson University.
You know, talking about learning from another player.
And a ball call.
Tommy Harper, we were talking about batting instructors. I asked him, do you rely on a batting instructor? As I mentioned earlier, he said Tommy Davis helped him, but he said he talked hitting with other players more so than a coach.
Yeah, it's grounded foul. Ted Williams, of course, would talk with anybody that could come up with any kind of theory on how to hit. Might not accept the theory, but he certainly wanted to know about it. And he was certainly willing to give all the advice you'd ever want. And he was one of the greatest hitters that ever played this game.
I think it's important for players to talk to other players, not to rely completely on a batting coach, although a batting coach is important.
I made it a point to talk to everyone that I could when I was playing. As Barnes works out a walk. Barnes, the first man to get out against Whitehurst.
I think it's a great idea to talk to other players. Rusty Staub, when they had the Mayor's Trophy game, Lou Piniella and Rusty would talk different theories of hitting. 2 pretty good hitters.
So a runner on for the first time for Montreal. It comes with 2 men out here in the third, and it brings up Delino DeShields. who grounded out his first time up. And he takes that pitch for ball 1. DeShields, the number 2 man to Dave Justice's Rookie of the Year last year. And there's a pitch for a called strike. It's 1-1. Justice not selected to the All-Star team, although having a fine year, but he's on the DL. I guess that had something to do with it. Rookie of the Year last year for Atlanta with a great season and having a good season again this year. And there's a ball call, so it's 2-1. DeShields with good speed. And a strike call by Mike Winters, the home plate umpire. 2-2. Barnes not being held on at first base by Templeton. Pitcher doesn't figure to run, although it has been done. 2-2 as Templeton moves back even deeper at first. And a swing and a miss, and the strikeout ends the inning. Third strikeout for Wally Whitehurst. And he has now pitched to 10 batters and has not given up a base hit. And on the Sherwin-Williams scoreboard, it's ever in Montreal, the best man to have for a tour guide is a man who is called the Grand Orange up here in Montreal, Rusty Staub. And Rusty showing us the sights of old Montreal here today.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all.
Mark Carrion takes ball 1. Mets ahead 1-0. We're in the top of the 4th. Make it ball 2. It's been a kind of a low-key game. The big play in the game, a home run by Kevin Elster. Fly ball, center field. Drifting back is Grissom, but he's got it. 1 down. That is his 5th put out of the game. And we're in the top of the 4th. They're working on the center fielder.
That's the wrong direction. It's big out there. A lot of room out there.
You got to hit it a long way to get it out there. Rick Cerrone at the plate. He was one of the 3 guys in a row who flew out to center. That was the 2nd time in a row Carrion did it. Cerrone and Herr followed suit. Mets trying to sweep the series. Popped up. Catcher and Wallach. Wallach takes it. 2 down. It's the way it should be. The infielder should call off the catcher at all times. I don't care who the catcher is.
It's a much easier catch when you're facing into the ball than facing away from it.
And the glove.
Right here, Wallach makes the call, checks out the catcher, makes sure that he knows that he has called for it. And Fitzgerald says, go ahead. Wallach says, let the sure man have it.
He's got good hands. Tommy Herr waiting. Shortens up, looks at Galarraga. Galarraga playing fairly deep at first. Tommy Herr, 3 hits in his last 29 at bats. It's been a tough run since he has guys the ground ball foul at third. He's done a fine job defensively. Turned a great double play in this series. As much responsible for winning one of the games as any of the offense.
Yeah, the Mets sort of stole that game. They won 2-1, and it was basically because of the double play they got on Tim Wallach.
It's incredible to be able to go to the bench and get someone with Herr's talent. Every manager in the world, it's not good for the player sometimes. The player wants to be out there playing every day. But it's a great comfort to the manager to know that you got someone on the bench that can come out and do the kind of job that Tommy Herr is doing.
Say the same thing about Templeton.
Fouled off. A ball and 2 strikes. Templeton seeing a lot more action than a lot of people felt he would. But he's earned the right. He's been swinging the bat and making the plays. As Tempe. Strike called. Her throws the bat away.
Grissom with 2 5-hit games within 2 weeks of each other. Became the 18th Montreal player to have a 5-hit ball game. And it took place in Atlanta, where he was born.
Fastball inside, ball 1.
He left 116 tickets for that ball game.
Wow. You got to be kidding.
That's true.
Come on.
116 passes.
Ground ball foul.
Then he comes up with a 5-hit ball game. He's one of 2 Montreal players to have 2 5-hit games as a Montreal player. The other was Andre Dawson. He had his second 5-hit game against the Mets.
How can you possibly leave 116 tickets? Wait a minute.
That's got to take care of all the groceries and the dry cleaning and the laundry for about 20 years.
Goodness gracious. It's got a rank, doesn't it?
That's up there.
Wow. 2 balls and a strike. Make it 3-1.
I couldn't find 116 people to leave tickets to.
It's a lot of tickets. Whitehurst ready to roll. Swing and a miss. Full count. Whitehurst had retired 8 in a row, and then he walked Barnes. And he struck out to Shields. That ended the 3rd inning. If there's anything you don't want to do is to open an inning with a walk.
Especially a guy that has 37 stolen bases.
2nd in the league. He and DeShields right next to each other. DeShields 36 stolen bases. Grissom, as Ralph said, 37. Hard ground ball. Scooped right out of the turf. And Elster has him for the first out of the inning. Hey, that looked easy.
Makes everything look easy.
But you have to be concerned at what he's doing right there with his arm.
Had that shoulder operation, and when he has time, he doesn't throw hard. He just gets that ball over there. But when he goes into that hole where he has to throw hard, it hasn't been as strong. The arm hasn't been as strong as it was before the operation.
Ball 1. Calderon called out on strikes his first time up. Had some words and a pretty dirty look. Mike Winter. Fouled off. 1-1.
He's wearing number 22. He didn't have that number when he joined the ball club. He offered Nelson Santovenia $1,000 for Santovenia's number, which was 22, and Santovenia turned it down. He says, no way. So Calderon says, well, I'll get it when you're sent down to the minors. Santovenia was sent down to the minors. He got the number. He was right. Santovenia is squandering the $1,000. He didn't get it.
Chopped but foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Expos, having lost this 10 in a row, they did lose 20 in a row back in 1969. Unfortunately, I was a part of that losing streak.
That was their first year.
Boy, I'll tell you what, it was a long 3 weeks. 20 in a row. Reaches out, chops it. Better let this one go, and he does. Calderon is out. 2 outs in the inning. And that will bring up Wallach.
Well, Gene Mauch was the manager that year. That didn't come close to the record he had when he was with Philadelphia. They lost 26 in a row.
Well, I'll tell you what. I wasn't there for the 26, and I wish I wasn't there for the 20. That's finally, I mean, the Expos finally won a game in Los Angeles. Last game of the series was a day game on a Sunday. If I didn't jump up on the screen, we'd have lost that one too.
Made the catch, huh?
Willie Crawford hit a ball when he hit it left the bat. Look, had home run written all over it. We all came in after that. There was a lot of sighs of relief. Finally got rid of the jinx. In fact, you know something that's interesting about that game? Ted Blackman, the English writer here at that time for one of the papers, it was on that particular game I hit a home run and made that catch, and that's the first time anybody ever called me Le Grand Rage in the paper. It was Ted Blackman after that game. And that moniker has stuck.
It has certainly stuck. And he was an English writer.
Correct.
You would think that a Frenchman would have given you that moniker.
Did not happen that way. In fact, I did a show this morning with Ted Blackman. What is it, CJAD he's on? We had a few laughs, talked about some of the old times. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Wallach. 2 down. Mets ahead by a run. Swing and a miss. 4th strikeout of the game for Whitehurst. 3 up, 3 down. After 4, Mets 1, Montreal nothing. Series. Kind of a break for the pitching staff to be able to pitch in this type of weather. Not so hot. Whitehurst takes ball 1.
It's certainly a break for the fans to have good weather here, because the roof on this stadium is on the DL.
Hard ground ball by Whitehurst, but it's right at the shortstop Owen. Over to Galarraga, 1 down. Yeah, that storm that took place just about 7 or 8 days ago had 60, 65 mile an hour winds, tore that roof up a little bit.
It's bulletproof, but it certainly isn't windproof. Kevlar roof that's now folded up there in that crevice, and it's on a day-to-day basis. They're not sure when they're going to fix it. And
like those players, that day-to-day stuff, huh?
Yeah, it's the first roof that's been on the DL since Phil Roof was on the DL for the St. Louis Cardinals back in 1982.
Templeton takes a strike. Ground ball is short. Owen has made very few errors the last 2 years. Led the league in fielding both 1989 and 1990. He is the wrong guy to hit it to.
He's made 3 errors this year, second to Ozzie Smith, who has made less errors this year. Ozzie
made an error.
All-star shortstop.
Ozzie made an error in a game that we did, and they took the error away and called it a hit.
Yeah, that wasn't really.
That was a joke. That
fair.
kept a string of.
He was up to about 48 about that time, 48 games from the opening of the season without an error. It was clearly an error.
That was really weak.
Changed it the next day.
By the way, fans, Mets baseball is brought to you by Manufacturers Hanover, where your money has power. Kevin Elster showed a little power his first time up, hit a home run. Breaking ball inside. He followed it in the 3rd with a single, so he's 2 for 2. Brian Barnes taking a lot of time. Two and 0. 3 and 0, pardon me.
Barnes has had a no decision in each of his last 3 game starts and 5 of his last 6.
He has not pitched particularly well at the Big O. There's a strike. Here in his home ballpark, he has an earned run average of 5.20. They haven't won too many games with that one. Oh, 3 on the season. It's his 11th start. Gets him on the changeup. Elster way out front. Full count now.
This is that circle old change that we talked about, learned from Bill Landrum of the Pittsburgh Pirates while he was in college. And he's got a good one.
Elster gets a piece of this one. They'll try it again at 3-2. My personal congratulations to Howard Johnson making the All-Star team. Same thing with Frank Viola. Both guys, it's a wonderful honor. Strike 3 called. Elster takes it. 3 up. Dave Martinez, Andres Galarraga, and Mike Fitzgerald will face Wallach in the bottom of the 5th inning. Mets ahead 1-0. Triple O's up there for the Expos. Whitehurst has retired 12 of 13. The only guy on base was Brian Barnes with a walk. Line drive in the gap. Back and into the gap. The first hit of the ball game by Dave Martinez is a double. One hop off the left center field fence.
Well, Martinez right on top of the first pitch of his at bat. And he picks up his 10th 3-base hit, and that's a runner at second with no one out, representing the tying run here in the bottom of the 5th.
Galarraga, who has excellent power the other way. We'll see how he handles this situation. Fitzgerald and Owen following him. Chops it to the right side. It's a strike. He was definitely given an effort to try to move the ball the other way. As long as you try to do that with some strength, move it back through the middle, that's fine. Fitzgerald hitting 157, but he is a contact hitter. And then Spike Owen, although he's hitting 216, coming into this game, he was hitting 351 against New York. Galarraga has been out after having his knee operated on. This is his second at bat. Grounded to second his first time up. Line shot right at Templeton. So he did his job, hit it hard the other way. But unfortunately for Galarraga, Templeton was standing right there. That's frustrating, isn't it?
He hits this ball, well, it's a sinking fastball. He thinks he's done his job, but it's not going to go through. And Templeton making the catch. Martinez doing a good job not getting doubled off on this ball hit sharply to Templeton. He gets back.
Brings up Fitzgerald. Fitzgerald grounded out his first time up. Grounded to Elster. Lots of time.
Fitzgerald started his career with the New York Mets. In fact, hit a home run his first time up in the major leagues with the Mets.
That was in Philadelphia. What an opening. Takes ball 1.
48th player to hit a home run in his first major league at bat back in 1983. Hit it off Tony Gelfi.
Elster trying to keep Martinez close at second. Now he bounces back. There goes the runner. Boy, he had a great jump. What a job by Dave Martinez. As soon as Elster moved back, took a step, it's like he wanted to check and see if the second baseman was there. Whatever he did well because he got a great jump. Cerrone had no chance there.
His fifth stolen base in 11 attempts, and he just stole that one on Whitehurst. Puts a runner at third now, representing the tying run with one out. Mets are bringing their infield in at first and third and also at short and second. So they're going to play in for a play at the plate.
1-1's the count. There's one down. Fouled out of play. A ball and 2 strikes. Bearing in mind Fitzgerald a very good bunter. The Expos have had trouble scoring runs. Tom Runnels. He's going through a rough stretch here, Ralph. 10 in a row. Sometimes you start pulling out some what are called desperation plays.
Panic moves.
Nice play by Cerrone on that ball in the dirt. Whitehurst defeated the Expos on April 11th. That's why his record this year is 1-0 against Montreal. That's won that game 6-3. Trying to stop the Expos from scoring. Swing and a miss. He gets Fitzgerald. And he is a tough strikeout. Challenged him inside.
Boy, he got him with a good inside fastball. And that could be a big strikeout as the Mets can now drop their infield back. 5th strikeout for Whitehurst in this game.
Templeton playing a little bit behind the bag, and Howard Johnson taking the bunt away from Spike Owen. Howard right on the line at third. And you see the setup defensively. Ball 1. It's the only start of the year that Whitehurst has had against the Expos. He went 7 innings in that game in April. It's a fine game and got the win. 1-1. He's been working that outside corner very well tonight. I think the best thing he's been doing, though, Ralph, is that he has been pitching in exceedingly well tonight.
Well, he has a good slow curveball, and he also throws a slider, and his fastball has a lot of movement.
There's that hook, and it's a good one. 1-2. Spike Owen shaking his head, saying, wow, I can't hit this.
Well, he complained about it being out of the strike zone, but you're right. That was a beautiful curveball, and it broke through the strike zone for a big strike.
It's not where it ends up, it's where it crosses the plate. At least that's the theory. Fastball, tried to get Owen to chase, but he was holding. 2-2. July 4th has been a big day for the Expos. They have won 10 of the last 11 July 4th games. There's a good breaking ball. He gets Owen way out front. Quick grab by Cerrone, tags Owen, and the Mets are out of the jam. After 5, they lead 1-0. Pirates have lost today. They lost in extra innings, 9-8 to Chicago. Chance for the Mets to pull within 4.5.
Mark Grace with a home run in the 11th inning to win it. Cubs had a big lead in that game, 8-2, and saw the Pirates tie it up in the 9th.
And something. Off speed pitch, 2 balls, no strikes. The Expos, just the worst record against Eastern Division teams that I have seen in a long while. Only 8 victories in 40 games.
And amazingly, the best record against the other division, the Western Division. They won 25 and lost only 13. But you sure don't want to be with a losing record in your own division.
Well, they're looking for after the All-Star break. All the teams in the East will play the teams in the West. There's a strike. 3-1. Mets will start the second half of the season playing all the West Coast teams as they come in, and then they will shoot out to the West Coast themselves. McReynolds with a leadoff walk.
Expos have not won a game against the Cubs. They're 0-6. They've won 1 against the Pirates. They won 2 against the Mets. And their overall record, 8 victories and 32 losses in their own division. The Mets in their own division with a record of 24-16.
Howard Johnson checking Cubbage for the signs. Wouldn't expect a great deal to happen. McReynolds has not run a lot this year, only 2 stolen bases in 5 attempts. You want Howard Johnson to swing the bat. He's leading the league in home runs and RBIs. You want to give him a shot at letting that bat fly. Expo bullpen getting active. Doug Pyatt throwing. So Tom Runnels trying to take no chances, getting somebody ready.
Well, that's got to be a balk, and they never call it.
They never do. It's an awfully good move.
Doesn't even come close to stepping over there. Watch him wrap himself up and then not step toward first. You're supposed to step toward first base. He steps almost straight home.
Howard Johnson takes a breaking ball out of the strike zone, 2-0. The Expos have been going to that bullpen a lot this year. They have not had a lot of success.
Bullpen has lost 4 straight games, and they have a record of 13-14 with only 17 saves. They have blown 15 saves this year.
Yes, they have, and Larry Benoith is out to talk to the young pitcher Brian Barnes, to make sure that Pyatt has enough time to warm up. 2 balls, no strikes. You got Howard Johnson at the plate. You want to go out and say, now look, do not groove this pitch to Howard Johnson. There's Tim Burke, who has been relegated to being a middleman, although we did see Barry Jones come into the game with a 4-run deficit yesterday. Tim Burke, who was the closer for many years here, has really had a lot of blown saves. Howard Johnson checking his swing. 2 balls, 1 strike. And 15 blown saves is something. In fact, in one game, the Expos actually had 3 different pitchers blow a save, but only goes down as 1 blown save.
Lost the lead, got it back, lost it, got it back, lost it again.
They were in trouble. Howard Johnson fouls that ball off, 2-2. Nobody out. We're in the top of the 6th. Mets ahead 1-0. A lone hit for the Montreal Expos, a double to left center. Dave Martinez, the only hit for the Expos. The Mets have 3 hits. The big one, the home run by Elster in the first. There's that move to first base. When a pitcher comes up to the big leagues, the umpires make a decision on whether they're going to call a balk on it or not. They start, if one guy calls a balk, it goes all the way around the league, and they all start calling a balk. They let him get away with it. And that is a pretty good move.
He hadn't had a balk called on him in his 11 game starts.
No. 3 wild pitches, 3 hit batsmen, but no balks. It's the fastball in, it looks like. Doesn't get it in. Full count. If McReynolds gets the go on this, it's not a steal. It's just like a hit and run. And to make sure that Barnes goes to the plate with that move he's got, it means you can't get started too early.
Yeah, make sure he pitches is what the first base coach always says to you.
And he does. Fly ball deep to center. Back is Grissom. And he's got room. That's the first out of the inning. McReynolds returns to first. It'll bring up UB Brooks. He has walked and struck out. The Mets 8 games over 500. UB takes a strike. Mets go on to Philadelphia. There'll be a 3-game series there. Doc Gooden will be going tomorrow night against Danny Cox. That'll be on Channel 9 WWOR. And right here on Sports Channel on Saturday night, that's a 7:05 start. Let's check this pitch. Catches the inside corner, 0-2. It'll be Viola against Bruce Ruffin. Viola going for win number 10. Then on Sunday, David Cohn will face Tommy Green. So Nick Reynolds off the line to second. Swing and a miss by UB. And he is down for the second time in a row. It's almost like he doesn't see the ball sometimes, Ralph, with some of those swings he takes.
He has a bad swing at this one. It's way out of the strike zone. That's that changeup that we've been talking about. And that's a 4th strikeout for Barnes in this game. Struck out 11 on June the 2nd against the Cubs.
Carry on checking the signs. He is 0 for 2. He has flown to center in both at bats. Little check on McReynolds. You're looking ahead to the next inning. Brian Barnes will be leading off, so a pinch hitter obviously in order. Checking his swing, but fouling the ball off. No balls and a strike. A carry on. This is a gigantic stadium, but it can get as quiet as any place you have ever been. There's another strike. 0-2.
Especially when the visiting team's having a good day. They don't apply to anything.
Well, there are a number of Mets fans here for this series. Plains were active. Oh, the umpire behind the plate, Mike Winter, started to move that right shoulder back like he was going to call a strike. Watch his shoulder.
That's a breaking ball, and
oh, he didn't do it.
a reprieve.
Boy, you better not take one close now. He didn't. But it's foul. They'll try again at 1-2. Reynolds with that front foot just on the turf. There he goes. Got a big jump, and they cannot get him at second base. It was such a big jump. Galarraga trying to get the ball out of his glove, dropped it, and that's going to go down as a stolen base, I believe. They can't give an error on that.
Galarraga has had the Gold Glove the last 2 years. He's made 5 errors this year, and he's definitely picked up. And they are giving an error to Galarraga. That'll be his 6th. It goes as a pickoff, and an error charged to Galarraga.
I tell you what, look what McReynolds did. That's good base running. He knew he was picked off. He knows that the first baseman has to throw the ball to second. There's a ball, 2-2, and he tried to make sure that he put his body between the first baseman and the shortstop covering. He didn't know Galarraga dropped the ball, but that was an excellent move on the part of McReynolds.
Yeah, all you hope for is to get hit by the throw.
One of the few times you're praying to get hit by the
That's
throw.
right. Please let it hit me.
Way outside. Full count. You're also getting in the vision of the shortstop. That's just a good play. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Barnes wins the battle. That's straight.
9 for 35 with 3 runs batted in. He has been their primary pinch hitter. And he will lead it off here in the bottom half of the 6th. The Mets leading 1-0.
Both Howard Johnson and Templeton playing in, trying to take the bunt away. He's not bunting, and it's ball 1. Little looper. It's going to fall in front of McReynolds. Phillip rounding hard. And there's one of those circumstances where you have a guy that doesn't have a tremendous amount of pop, hitting that ball into the opposite field in front of the outfielder. Brings up Delino to Shields. Tim Burke throwing furiously down in the bullpen. He's about ready. He'll be coming in the ball game. Howard Johnson really making DeShields aware that he is not going to give him the bunt. He's going to sacrifice, though, right out in front of home plate. Whitehurst to Tempe, and a successful sacrifice by Delino DeShields. So Grissom will come up with a chance to tie the ball game.
And Whitehurst takes the sure out at first base. Good enough bunt. That's the 5th sacrifice bunt by DeShields this year, and it puts a time run at second. And for the 2nd consecutive inning, Montreal Expos have a chance to tie up this game.
Little meeting on the mound by the troops. I don't know if they were going over the signs as to what he was going to be using with a man on second. The Expos have not had many base runners. Two hits and a walk, but they're in a position here with another hit to tie this game up. Grissom waiting. Hard ground ball. Elster play at third. And I'll tell you what, that is a terrible base running mistake by Marquise Grissom. Elster could have never, ever got Grissom at first. Delino DeShields, just a terrible base running play.
These are the mistakes that you cannot make in the major leagues, and Tom Reynolds giving the sign still, but he's got to be very unhappy. The Expos have made several of those types of mistakes. This ball's hit to Elster's right. He's got no chance at first base, and the throw to third to Johnson picks up the runner and takes him out of scoring position. That's just a handmade play for Elster at third, where he had no chance at first.
Tell you what, if there was 2 outs, that would have been a bad play, because that's the only play Elster had to get a runner. Just really no thinking whatsoever on the base paths.
Well, you can look for Grissom to be trying to steal here to get back into a position where they have the tying run in scoring position.
Absolutely. There he goes, Ralph. The pitch out, the throw by Cerrone. They get him. So the Mets called a pitch out, and it was at the exact right time. So a bad base running play and a good pitch out and throw gets the Mets out of this inning. After 6, they still lead 1-0. given up 38 hits. He has walked 13 and struck out 23. And after hearing all that, in for the play-by-play, my old compadre, Francis Xavier Healy.
Good to see you, Rusty. And now we'll take a look at today's headlines from the news sports section of the New York Times. At Wimbledon, Capriati overthrows the Queen, but get beat today by, who did?
Sabatini?
That's right.
Martina lost to Capriati. Capriati today lost to Sabatini.
We're on to that. We get the wrong headlines. We will come up with the headlines. Ewing wants money, not freedom, from the Knicks, trying to put a kick into North American soccer. So I guess that's the headlines they say. I think we read those headlines last night. But anyways, same headlines again tomorrow. As you look at Rick Cerrone. Strike one to Cerrone for Tim Burke.
You can make something up.
I know, really. We just read. Did we read those last night?
No, we didn't. You did.
I certainly did.
I'll bail in a heartbeat.
All right. I'm alone. I'm on that ship alone. It's a little boat.
I even took the oars when I left.
Well, Rick Cerrone now with the 1-1 count. Nobody out. We're in the top of the 7th inning. How about the Mets? 1-0 on top of the Expos. Mets need some runs here. I'm surprised they took Barnes out of this ball game. Fouled off.
He was pitching a fine game. Runnels doing everything he can to try to get a victory.
Yeah, but there's got to be a but.
I agree.
Thank you.
I hate it. I hate that when you do that to me.
I appreciate you being honest about this. There's a foul ball. So the count remains 1 ball and 2 strikes. After tonight's ball game, the Mets are off to Philadelphia, 3-game series, then the All-Star break.
Speaking of that All-Star break, Sid Fernandez coming back supposedly after the All-Star break. Both Ron Darling and Whitehurst trying to tell Buddy Harrelson they don't want out of the rotation.
There's
Fine
Buddy
performance
Harrelson
by Darling last night, and a fine game tonight by Wally Whitehurst.
1 and check that 2-2 on Cerrone. Well, you have to look at Sid Fernandez. Will he be ready to toe the slab on a major league diamond? Here's the 2-2 pitch to Cerrone. That's a good pitch right there. Tip of the cap to the pitcher. A pitcher's pitch, 1 down.
Here's a look at it. Good slider, right where you want to throw it. See Burke's reaction at quick movement of the feet. His first strikeout of the game. Barnes went 6 innings, gave up 1 run, only 3 hits, struck out 5 and walked 4. So that's a pretty good performance by the young left-hander. But he is on the losing side of this game.
In the batter now, Tommy Herr. He's 0 for 2. He flied to center and K'd. Right back to Burke. Good quick hands. Scored 1-3, 2 down.
Ball gets back to you in a hurry sometimes off this artificial turf.
So with 2 men down, the batter will be Wally Whitehurst, who, as Rusty mentioned, is pitching a masterpiece. He's only allowed 2 Expo hits. There's a strike. We were talking about Wimbledon a few moments ago. That young lady, Capriati, is some kind of player. She got beat today. 15 years old. She can play that tennis.
She won a lot of them in years to come.
Down low. No, it's a strike. 0-2. Talking about some tennis players who are involved in this game. I mentioned Tom Runnels, the manager of the Expos, all-state tennis player in high school. Kevin Elster told me he could really play some tennis. I know Dave Maganin's a good tennis player. Wally Whitehurst holds up. 1-2 on the mid pitcher.
No swing called by young Brian Gorman. So amazing. Every time I say his name, thinking of his dad, Tom.
Tom Gorman, an umpire for many years in the National League. Brian umpiring at first base today as Whitehurst checks his swing. Hits the ball weakly back to Burke. Scored 1-3. That'll do it for the Mets here in the 7th inning. 3 up, 3 down. We played 6.5 here in Montreal. And it's 1-0 New York.
Minnesota over Toronto 1-0. In the 8th, 6-1 Detroit over Boston. Also in the 8th. I guess that's Seattle over Chicago. That's 3-2. Milwaukee trailing 3-0 in Cleveland. That's in the 4th. Oakland trailing Texas 2-0. That's in the 1st inning. And Kansas City will be at California later tonight.
Ivan Calderon will lead it off for the Expos. Bottom of the 7th. 1-0 New York. First pitch from Wally Whitehurst is ball 1. Calderon fouls the ball out of play, so it's 1-1. You know, when you look at the bios of the players throughout the major leagues, about 15 years ago, you look at a bio and it'd say he played baseball, basketball, and football in high school. They're different today. This guy, Calderon, played baseball in high school in Puerto Rico and volleyball. And he volleys this one in the gap, left center field. Extra bases for Calderon. A stand-up double for the Expo left fielder.
Here's a look at it. You see how his body weight went forward, but he's still got the fat part of the bat on it. Good relay. Good enough anyway, and it holds him to a double. So with nobody out, we will see what Tim Wallach does. Earlier in the game, Dave Martinez, as you watch Innis warm, he doubled the lead off the 5th inning. Whitehurst was able to put it all together. Big strikeout of Mike Fitzgerald and Spike Owen back to back. It got him out of that inning.
Tough man with the bat right here, Tim Wallach. I'd be careful. I don't care how he's struggling. He's 0 for 2. Runner in scoring position. Wallach gets severely jammed. He moves the runner along. Score it 4-1. Per for Whitehurst. Calderon now on 3rd base.
All right, so Wallach forces the ball over there, kind of gives himself up maybe a little too much. You see Templeton is out of the play. And Whitehurst gets over in time, makes a nice play on the high ball. A high throw, that is. Tags the bag, so at least they get an out on the play.
And a meeting on the mound. You know, I agree with you, Mr. Staub. I noticed that was a throwaway line, maybe too much. If Wallach gave himself up, I don't agree with him. He's a money player. He's your RBI guy.
It looked like he kind of forced that ball a little too much. You want to see him go with some pop, not just to give himself up.
I want him to drive in the run. Well, anyways, the runner's on 3rd base. Martinez is the batter. One man down.
You do have to give him credit for getting the guy
Oh,
over.
sure. Yes, I do.
Watch the swing. See, that ball was way inside. He really inside out at that one.
Calderon on 3rd base. One man down. Martinez struck out and doubled. The infield is in. So is the outfield. Inside to Martinez, ball 1. Andres Galarraga on deck, coming off the disabled list today. Strike 1. 1 ball and 1 strike on Dave Martinez. One man down. Just tuned in to Sports Channel. We're in Montreal, Canada, the Mets and the Expos. Final game of this 4-game series. Mel Stottlemyre looking on, so is Buddy Harrelson and Doc Edwards. It's 1-0 Mets. The bottom of the 7th inning. Inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Three and 1. Would you pitch to him here, Mr. Staub?
Would I pitch to him? Yes, I would pitch to him.
Okay, there's Andres Galarraga, who just got off the disabled list, on deck. Calderon on third. Three-one pitch. Popped up. Down the left field line. McReynolds coming over. Cannot make the play. It'll go to 3-2.
McReynolds coming hard. Tell you see how deep he's playing. He's got to come a long, long way here. And that wall is right there. He's got all those players. It's pretty dangerous right there. Now with 2 strikes, and Martinez obviously going to be protecting the plate. That's when Big Mac should make an adjustment out in left field, but he's playing pretty deep.
See the defense. Full count on Martinez. 3-2, 1 man down. 1-0 Mets. Fouled off. So we'll do it again. It's weird spending the 4th of July here north of the border. Missing out on the festivities in the United States. Hope everybody has a great holiday. The Expos are hoping for fireworks right now. Tom Reynolds, 36-year-old manager. He's going to have an ulcer before he's through.
Goes with the territory.
3-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Great pitch from Wally Whitehurst. Excellent call from Rick Cerrone. They got him to chase the breaking ball. 2 down.
Here's the pitch. That good curveball down and in. Martinez cannot lay off it. Another angle. Gutsy call and a gutsy pitch.
So, 2 men down.
That, by the way, was strikeout number 7 for Whitehurst.
Well, he'll go after Andres Galarraga, who's 0 for 2. He lined hard in the 5th inning, also grounded to second base.
They called a balk. They called a balk.
A balk on Wally Whitehurst. Tie ball game. We'll have to check it out, see what he did. Did he start and stop?
I think he moved his shoulder. I think he had just a little bit of a start, and it cost him his lead. Calderon had taken a little bit of a fake here, and it was enough.
Well,
it was enough.
We didn't have Whitehurst, but we saw Calderon fake towards the plate, and Galarraga now takes a strike. We're all tied at 1. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. 1 run, 3 hits, and no errors for New York. 1 run, 3 hits, and no errors for Montreal. Ground ball is short. Elster to Templeton, scored 6-3. That'll do it for the Expos here in the 7th. But they tied the ball game up, and on the Sherwin-Williams scoreboard, after 7, we're all tied at 1. Tim Burke taking his warm-up tosses. You see Wally Whitehurst in the dugout. Wally balking in the tying run in the 7th inning. Well, there's a break in the action. Ought to be a great time to break for the great taste of Bud Light. It's a big hit with fans everywhere because everything else is just a light. Tough ball game right now. All tied at 1. Gary Templeton will turn around and bat from the left side of the plate against Tim Burke. Templeton 0 for 3. He'll be followed by Kevin Elster and then Kevin McReynolds. Top of the 8th inning. Fran Healy along with Rusty Staub and Ralph Kiner. Mentioned before, hope you enjoyed the holiday. Fouled back, strike 1.
Tempe trying to get Wallach to come in a little bit and slap it by him. A little fake maneuver there. As Wallach kind of even with the bag. We remind you that the Pirates lost today. That's trying to pick up a game.
There's a ground ball to second base. The Shields boot the ball. Mets get a break. Error on the Expos second baseman.
Boy, and that is an error in concentration, because that is not a tough grounder. Sometimes you don't know where a guy is thinking. There's too many hops there for there to be any trouble. Just right in his glove, had to take his eyes off or just lose his concentration. You know, they talk about working on the fundamentals all the time, and to do that you have to concentrate. You have to concentrate in your workouts. You get too lax, plays like that happen.
So runner on first base. And the batter Kevin Elster, he's 2 for 3. He has a home run and a single. He's also struck out. They check Templeton.
Elster has been used on the hit and run.
Elster bunts the ball. Galarraga goes to second. Nice play. Back to first. Not in time.
That is some play by Galarraga.
But we're not surprised.
Nope. They call him the Grand Gateau, the big cat. That's the reason why. He gets the big hop, turns, lets it fly, and gets Tempe easy. It's a good thing Elster didn't watch the play too long, or he might not have beaten that ball out.
Well, Elster's on first base as you look at the play again. Elster beat the throw. The big cat doing the job. And Big Mac is the batter. McReynolds doubled. So Big Mac, one hit in his ball game, takes outside. Ball 1. Tom Spencer every time walks over to the runner on first base. Mike Cubbage flashing signs. Mike Winters, the home plate umpire. So Runnels getting on the home plate umpire, Mike Winters.
The Shields playing close to second. There is a good hole between first and second. McReynolds is very adept himself at going the other way.
And a 1-0 pitch. Chopper in the hole. Owen goes to second for the force. Not in time. The Shields is off the base. I don't believe it. Here comes Runnels.
He's going to get run here, I think.
Yeah. Eric Gregg will only take so much. Another break for the Mets. And Runnels disagreeing with Eric Gregg.
Would you say vociferously disagreeing? He almost has to go out and try to get his team fired up. He's got all the frustrations of this 10-game losing streak. And he thinks that an umpire has missed a call. He's going to vent it somehow, and there it is.
Third base umpire Charlie Relaford getting involved.
Charlie Relaford, who's at third base, trying to calm him down. Here's Mike Winter. He's got a few things to say too. He's screaming at him about the balls and strikes.
Reynolds 36 years old. Question is, will he make it to 37?
He's got that good vein going. That's what Gene Mauch used to have. That big vein would be popping out on his neck.
Fans have been entertained by their manager, Tom Reynolds.
Here's a look at a play. Let's watch his foot. Awful close.
I'll tell you what, though, Rusty, how many times do you see that called? Let's be serious.
Here's a look at it. The phantom tag at second base has been 10 times worse than that. I agree.
Oh, boy. I'll tell you, that's television's impact. We got more cameras in this building tonight than we've seen in a long time. And Eric Gregg said, they better be on the money. They better be on the money, because there are too many cameras in this building. So television might have helped the Mets right there. Runners on first and second with one man down. Hojo takes strike one from Tim Burke.
So an easy ground ball error by DeShields, and then not holding on to the bag by DeShields.
Oh, and 1 on Howard Johnson. Inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. One man down. If you just tuned in, stay with us. We've got some excitement here on Sports Channel. Mets and the Expos tied at 1. Top of the 8th.
Let's check it one more time. Watch DeShields. Eric Gregg right there, looking right at him. That's a tough call against the Expos.
Hojo loops the ball into left field. Here comes Elster. Here comes McReynolds. They'll hold him at third, and Hojo into second base with a stand-up double. 2-1 New York.
Mets getting a couple of breaks. They take advantage of it. I just like to be the guy on the mound, the pitcher, Tim Burke, watching all this. Well, why me, guys? Why me? And there he is. He's talking to Spike, and Spike saying, "Hey, I can't help you. I couldn't touch it." Going the other way, that little dunker. That's that opposite field. Again, Calderon extremely deep.
Watching Hojo go the other way there and doing it last night proves he's a better hitter now than he's ever been, because at one time he pulled everything.
Pulled off the ball. Everything was a complete jerk down the right field line. That was smart hitting. Whenever you hit it, as the expression goes, where they ain't, smart hit, no matter how lucky it is.
Of course, Wally Whitehurst has to be happy. He blocked in the only run of the game tonight for the Expos. Now his Mets have a 2-1 lead.
61st RBI of the season for Howard. Howard came into the game leading the league in both home runs and RBIs.
Now Hubie Brooks will get a free pass as Wally Whitehurst looks on. Wally throwing good tonight, throwing the ball very well. Mets will have the bases loaded for Mark Carrion. Do you pinch hit for one of your best pinch hitters?
They have a lot of choices. Sasser, Boston, Magadan, Torvey. It appears as though Buddy Harrelson is not going to bring Carrion back.
He's your most feared pinch hitter, Mark Carrion, but has been struggling as a regular. He's 0 for 3 tonight.
He's going to get a chance. Looks like we're going to get a pinch runner for Brooks. Darryl Boston coming out.
So Mark Carrion will bat with the bases jammed with Mets. One man down, top of the 8th, 2-1 New York. Got to get this guy swinging the bat when he's playing every day or platooning.
1 for 8 in the series.
Down low, ball 1.
When you're at the plate and the pitcher throws the first pitch for a ball, puts you in the right mood. You know the guy doesn't want to go to 2-0. You want to really be ready for this pitch. Try not to do too much with it. Make sure you don't miss it if you get a good one.
1-0 pitch. There's a shot to Wallach. He goes home for the force. They go to first base. Double play. 5-2-3. And Tim Burke is out of a jam. But the Mets take the lead, and then the Expos. He'll be followed by the pinch hitter. I should say Mike Fitzgerald will lead it off. He'll be followed by Spike Owen and probably a pinch hitter. Bottom of the 8th inning, 2-1 New York. Fouled off, strike 1. Seems to be a lot of excitement here in Montreal tonight for this ball game.
In the last inning there was.
You complaining about the innings prior to the last inning?
It's been awful quiet.
Okay. There's a strike. 0-2.
Barry Jones warming for Montreal. The Mets have both Innes and Simons going.
There's a ball. 1-2.
There they are. Joining Jones is Steve Fry. Lefties and righties up for both clubs.
Inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mike Fitzgerald 0 for 2 tonight. Grounded to short and struck out. Wally Whitehurst has been throwing the ball very well. He's only allowed 3 hits. Expos run coming on a balk in the 7th inning. Fouled off again.
Howard Johnson at third and Templeton at first, protecting the line. And everybody deep as they should be, because Fitzgerald really does not have good speed.
Outside. 3-2. Got to get the lead off, man. There's a drive to center field. Boston gliding back makes the grab. 1 down.
Spike 0 for 2 tonight. He came into this game hitting 189 as a left-handed hitter.
There's a strike.
Foley has been swinging the bat much better lately.
I'd leave Owen in the ball game. I don't think it's that much more of an impact. 0-1 on Foley. Fouls the ball off. Cerrone not happy with something. Something disturbed him, whether it was a bug that flew into the... It might have been crossed up. He was flinching behind the plate. Yeah. Oh, he's looking for the breaking ball.
All the way.
0-2 on Foley. As we mentioned, Foley pinch hitting for Spike Owen.
I think everybody realizes that there was a cross up there.
And the 1-2 pitch. Curveball looped to the left field, base hit. So Foley picking up a hit and leading off here in the 8th inning for the Expos. Check that with 1 out.
And that's what you want. So he has not become erratic with his pitches.
Back to first is Foley. Now we're told that the proper pronunciation is Brett Barbary. He is from Long Beach, California. He was a member of the 1988 United States Olympic team, which won the gold medal in Seoul, Korea. Did 288 in 41 games while touring with that team. In 1988, also went to USC. Graduated from there. How about this, Joe? His hobbies are, is this a California kid or what? His hobbies are
Surfing,
automobiles, and
surfing. Yeah, I knew it. Especially if he's from Southern California down that way. That's surfing territory.
And his father played in the minor leagues in the Dodgers organization, also for the Reds and White Sox. And you said Reds. So here he is out of USC. Brett Barbary. He is only 23 years of age. In a big spot. Runner at first base. His club is down by a run. And what they need from him is rather simple. They need the base hit. Big hole on the right side of the infield. Over at third, Johnson is guarding the foul line now. That misses, and it is a ball and a strike. Johnson shallow and guarding the line against the extra base hit.
The rest of the infield's pretty much straight away. And Galarraga, of course, is holding. I'm sorry. Templeton is holding the runner at first base.
So the big holes on either side of the infield. Now this could be two. Elster back to first. Two. A double play. And so it goes for the Expos. We go to the 9th inning. 2-1 Mets.
He makes a big move at the plate. Watch it show up. There it was. Umpire Mike Winter says that's all I need.
Whitehurst, but the Mets have the closer up in the bullpen, John Franco. Methinks we have seen the last of Sir Wally, who has tonight been at his very best, maybe his best ever. We haven't seen him that often as Tom Foley, now also at short, but he certainly has never gone 8 innings before. He's pitched a beauty tonight. And his manager, Bud Harrelson, is sort of a vote of confidence there, leaving him in after the base hit to Foley in the 8th with the Barbary up there.
Well, what happens is you know, he pitched well, and I think Bud wanted to give him an opportunity to, you know, show some confidence in him. And when you have a young pitcher out there, you walk out and you ask him if he's okay, and if you feel Cerrone probably had some input into him staying in as well. Cerrone probably told him, hey, he's still hitting the target, he's still throwing well.
There's a young pitcher. What if they take that game where they leave him in and Barbary hits one out of the park?
Right. Well, he could, you know, really destroy him the next time he gets to that situation, but you're only going to mature if you have to go into those situations and work your way out. I've often said, hey, I could pitch if no one ever got on base. You know what I mean? The way you determine whether a guy can become a good pitcher is how he pitches under pressure with men on base.
Plus, having said that, as the count is now 3-2 to Cerrone, the flip side is he did leave him in, and he got the big double play ball, which the vote of confidence plus getting it done.
That'll really help him in his next time he gets in that situation. He'll know that he can get the job done.
Well-paid dividends in the stretch in the second half for the Mets. It's a walk for Rick Cerrone, leading off the 9th against Barry Jones. 2-1 the Mets ahead of the 9th inning now. Stay tuned. Our 4th of July triple header extravaganza continues from San Diego Stadium, where the sun hasn't even gone down yet. And the Los Angeles Dodgers and the San Diego Padres coming up. Most of you will see that one. The rest of you go out on the town here in Montreal with Joe and I. You're all invited. Joe's buying. Tommy Hurd.
That figures. In this group, I would have to. These guys, I don't know.
Forever indebted to you.
Right.
The bunt, and Jones goes to DeShields for the sacrifice. Cerrone over to second. Now let's go to John Saunders.
Situation. I think it was a good time to bunt if you're Bud Harrelson, but they're going to bring in a pinch hitter, Jeffries, and they're going to also bring in another pitcher.
In the bullpen, they've got Facero warming up. There he is.
Well, maybe they're not going to bring in a good pitcher, a new pitcher.
Was that a Freudian slip there or what? Could have happened anyway.
Yes.
Stay with Barry Jones here. Facero warms up out there. Greg Jeffries hitting .272. He's a switch hitter. He'll bat left-handed. Hitting .279 from the left side. All of his home runs have been hit left-handed. 5 homers, 32 batted in, and that is a strike. 1 strike to count. 2-1 the Mets ahead, top of the 9th. Most of this series has been played much like this game.
Yes. Well, there have been competitive games and close ball games.
That's deep into right. Way back there. Still going back. And out of here, a 2-run homer for Greg Jeffries. 4-1 the Mets ahead. This one, a pinch hit shot. And now the Mets are very comfortable. And those Mets fans here north of the border are going nuts.
Well, Greg Jeffries gives the Mets a 3-run lead. It's a high fastball from Barry Jones, and Jeffries puts a charge into it. You see the location, and it is up. Now watch, Fitzgerald's asking for the ball down. Jones throws it high, and Jeffrey hits it out.
So Templeton, the hitter. 4-1 the score. Boy, after all of that, how disheartening is that for the Expos? Scratching, clawing, bunting. The Mets doing the same. Anybody's ball game, and then all of a sudden a big fly.
The big fly.
Base hit. And Barry Jones, formerly of the White Sox. Doesn't look like he's got it right now. Let's go to John Saunders.
Brewers and the Indians. Jim Hunter on the mound facing Carlos Baerga. This base hit right back up the box. Lewis comes in to score. Alex Cole coming around as well. Yountz won't even bother. The run comes in, and it's 3-0 now in the 7th inning. Back to John and Joe.
Thanks, John. I love this, Joe. When we're on Sunday night baseball, every game otherwise is just usually over.
Right.
And during a week like this, ESPN's got us plugged into all of the majors right at our fingertips. I like that.
Yeah.
Here is Kevin Elster. He has homered, singled, struck out, and then he hit into a force play and a sacrifice bunt attempt, but eventually came around to score the go-ahead run after the second error of the inning by Delino DeShields allowed him to be safe at second base. A very controversial call in this game. Now the Mets have opened it up a bit. 4-1. There is Templeton with his first hit. He is 1 for 5. He's over at first, and there is ball 2. 2-1. By the way, the first time in his career that Greg Jeffries has ever hit a pinch hit home run. But it is also the 6th pinch hit homer for the Mets this year.
Yeah, but Carrion has 3 of those.
Hit and run was on, and it's knocked loose from DeShields. We may get another error. Let's see.
No, I don't think he'll get an error on that play. Usually you have to tag the guy out and the call go from the umpire calling him out that they would charge you with an error. It's a high swing and a high fastball swing and a miss. Throw is there in time, but the Shields does not handle it.
And it is a stolen base. No error. First steal of the year for Templeton, and the pitch is ball 3 to Elster. So that was a busted hit and run play, and even that works out for the Mets. Templeton, who used to steal a lot of bases.
Yes. A lot of people do not remember, but Gary Templeton was one of the finest shortstops to ever play his first couple of years in Major League Baseball.
Wallach looks Templeton back and throws out Elster, out number 2 in the inning.
He's the only switch hitter to ever play to have 100 hits from each side.
Or he was at one time.
Oh, at one time. He was the first. Okay, Willie Wilson did it. I remember Gary Templeton was going for that record, and he batted right-handed against right-handed pitchers the last 3 or 4 ball games.
Here is McReynolds. McReynolds 1 for 3. Why? You mean he felt stronger batting right-handed?
No, he needed 4 hits from the right side to get his 100. Thank goodness for Mike Swanson. He finally did something good. Corrected me on that Willie Wilson. I forgot he accomplished that.
1979, I believe it was. He had 211 hits for the Cardinals that year.
Right.
And batted .314. Templeton at 77 batted .322.
Right.
79 .314. 1980 .319.
He was a great player till his knees. He had injuries to his knees, and his left knee really bothered him, and he's had problems. Exactly, because Templeton was a much better hitter than Ozzie Smith, and he was also a good shortstop.
Jones, bare hand pickup down the right field line, and another run will score. Templeton scores, and McReynolds ends up at second. He had no play, should have held the ball, and the Expos just can do nothing right. It is a single for McReynolds plus an error for Barry Jones. The all-star Howard Johnson is at the plate. They make Hojo switch around and bat right-handed here. And he pops him up. Wallach into foul territory, and he makes the catch. It is Franco sat down in the bullpen, unbeknownst to me, and Jeff Ennis started warming up and is in the game now. And DeShields comes up, and Joe, they're booing him here.
Yeah, they learned quickly here in Montreal about how to react to poor play of a player during the course of a ball game.
And DeShields is 0 for 2 tonight with a sacrifice bunt. Count 1 ball, 1 strike. Grissom and Calderon will follow the Mets. Very comfortable now, leading 5-1. Expos have made 3 errors tonight. Been 2 unearned runs. Now stay tuned. Right after our ball game, we'll take you to Southern California, to sunny San Diego. In the first place, Los Angeles Dodgers meet the San Diego Padres. And the third leg of our triple header. That's a foul down the left field line. Most of you will see that, ones who aren't going out with Joe and I.
Nice catch. That's why he brought his glove.
The man has been sitting there in that same seat for the last 14 years, and that's bringing his glove every time. First time he ever caught one.
Finally got one.
I know that guy. Struck him out. So it can. Here's Grissom, and that is a strike. There's some fans who do not want to be identified as being here tonight.
I think those were the guys who were carrying that "We Want Buck Rogers" sign.
Yeah. Although they wrote ESPN on that sign, so I like it. That's a called strike. 0-2 the count. Well, what a fine performance by Wally Whitehurst. Probably his best in the big leagues. Just what the Mets need to go with Gooden and Viola and David Cone and Sid Fernandez soon to be back. And now here's Whitehurst pitching an excellent ball game.
Well, it's what they need if they're going to make a run at the Pirates.
This is still a ball club whose foundation is that starting rotation. And Doc Gooden is supposed to pitch tomorrow night in Philadelphia. And seems to be a very big start for him. A lot of talk in the New York press about that. He's been getting knocked around.
Well, he has been struggling.
Grissom is 0 for 3. And now it is 2-2.
The one thing you have to remember about a guy like Doc Gooden is that when every hitter goes up to face him, they gear up because they know that he can embarrass them by throwing the fastball by them or getting them with his good curveball. So there's a little better concentration given to the pitchers of Doc Gooden's caliber.
19. He came on after the break. And he fully expects that Doc will be there again at the end of this year. Popped up. Tommy Herr out number 2. Don't forget now, Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central. The young guys like Langford and Gilkey and Felix Jose, Todd Zeal, they have really been quite a ball club under new manager Joe Torre, with some of the old guys like Ozzie Smith and Pedro Guerrero. Been a real exciting ball club. And the Cubs, of course, with that thunder. George Bell, he's had a fine season. He was named for the All-Star team today. Andre Dawson will be starting. And if he's able, so too will Ryan Sandberg, plus Grace and Dunston. Should be an exciting ball game. 2 longtime traditional rivals. It's a Sunday night telecast. Calderon with strike 2. So the Expos are down to their final strike, and they are 1 strike away from their 11th consecutive defeat. The Mets 1 strike away from sweeping this 4-game series and heading to Philadelphia. Only 4.5 back of the first place Pittsburgh Pirates. A profitable week for the Mets. Check swing foul, and that one winged to catcher Rick Cerrone. Calderon himself makes the decision to get rid of that baseball. It's a ball, 1-2. The pitcher's out in San Diego. Coming up, Eddie Murray, All-Star selection. He'll be there. Juan Samuel, All-Star selection.
On the All-Star team in England, man.
It's a pretty team.
Yeah. Griff, Fernandez, Gwynn, Santiago.
Some talent. That one stays fair. Calderon did not run, figuring it was going to roll foul, but it spun back and right over the bag. A ground ball, which says as much about the Expos streak as anything else. And a tight ball game, but a very sloppy finish for the Expos. Their 11th consecutive loss. And Wally Whitehurst, his longest outing as a big leaguer, wins his 5th. A fine performance for him. The final, the Mets 5, Montreal 1. The Mets have swept the series. Now stay tuned. Many of you will be seeing the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Padres next on ESPN. Now this is John Miller for Joe Morgan, and we'll see you Sunday night from St. Louis, 8 o'clock Eastern. Stay tuned for the next ball game coming up. The final here. Mets 5, Expos 1. Good night, everyone.